There's only a handful I can see that are going to follow the path that I've taken. And if you want commercial breeders in the business, then they need to be helped. Simple as that.
Brian West has bred standard breds for coming up 40 years.
So how long do you think you've got left in it?
Me personally?
Yeah.
6 to 7 years.
That's about how long the mainstay of stud and bloodstock gives New Zealand harness racing, unless it wakes up to loud alarm bells ringing from the basement.
Breeders, unfortunately, it comes down to breeders who are falling by the wayside because they simply can't make money. And there lies the problem for the racing industry to actually face up to and put in place some mechanism where breeders can actually make some money instead of requiring breeders to gamble their own funds, which is high risk. Put something in place in terms of a subsidy, like they do in France, whereby the breeders are exceedingly strong, and here we get no assistance. And that's the problem. It's almost impractical or impossible to make money breeding horses.
Aren't the breeders in France exceedingly rich as well?
Some are, yes. And why shouldn't they be?
Yeah, but that's the biggest common denominator that carries it. You've got to have loads of money for the game, don't you?
No, not necessarily. No, it is a high entry level in terms of dollars if you tried to break into the Europe market. But the point is, and the fact is, that the breeders are there for that one particular reason. That they know that they get 12.5% of every dollar of every racehorse that they breed earns, whether they race it themselves or they sell the horse and it's raced by another commodity. It's very simple.
In his time on yearling sales and vendors committees, West has raised such ideas to harness racing's high road.
Oh, I've suggested it since I've come back from France. There seems to be a medium group of breeders who would support that, but we seem to be faced with those at the head table who are just sitting back like in days gone by and not really facing the reality that this is very, very difficult for breeders to survive in. It's just too hard to actually make money from breeding racehorses. And until the head table, until the head of the breeders actually face that fact and actually argue and put a case to the TAB, just as the French breeders do in France to the PMU, which is the same as the TAB. The PMU in France recognise that without breeders there's no product to be presented to the races, and therefore there's no product to be bet on for them to make a profit. Now this is what we need to do. Breeders need to unite on this issue and actually start looking at how we can make this business profitable. I can tell you now, I would not encourage my children to come and do what I do. It's too damn hard and too risky. It's too hard to make money.
The sale of the stars, crux of any harness racing season for commercial breeders like Brian. 2 years of homework and hands-on come down to 2 days in February and 2 crucial minutes in the ring.
What price do you need for a yearling to make the breeding equation work through the sales?
Well, depending on the numbers and depending on your service fee, you need to add $6,000 as a base cost from weaning to sale day to get a yearling from weaning to sale day. So if you look at all your other costs, such as your service fee, your broodmare, your vet contracts, all those other auxiliary charges that follow once you've bred a broodmare, where you're keeping her, all that sort of stuff. And if you're looking at a service fee around the $5,000, you need $20,000 to keep your head above water for a yearling. And the average, I think, from most recent years is around $23,000, $25,000. So it doesn't leave a lot of fat for a breeder to make money on, and that is only, of course, reliant on the fact that you've got foals that are presented with correct straight legs, conformations fine, all that sort of stuff, and there are many who don't make it to that point as well.
In Christchurch, Stud and Bloodstock presents 11 yearlings for sale, 10 colts, 1 filly, 2 trotters, about the right mix for a decent return considering they tick the boxes on bloodlines and conformation.